The Great Animal Race. Once upon a time, in a lush green forest, there lived a group of animals who loved to have fun and play together. Among them were Benny the Bear, Sammy the Squirrel, Lily the Rabbit, and Danny the Deer. One sunny day, they gathered near the big oak tree at the center of the forest, chatting and laughing as they enjoyed the warm sunshine. Suddenly, Benny the Bear had an idea. "Let's have a race," he exclaimed, his eyes twinkling with excitement. The other animals cheered in agreement. They loved a good challenge, and a race sounded like the perfect way to spend the day. "We'll race from here to the river and back," Benny declared, pointing towards the sparkling river in the distance. "The first one to cross the finish line wins." Without wasting a moment, the animals lined up at the starting point, ready to begin the race. "On your marks, get set, go!" shouted Sammy the Squirrel, waving a leaf as a makeshift flag. And with that, the race was on. Benny the Bear bounded ahead, his strong legs carrying him swiftly through the forest. Behind him, Sammy the Squirrel darted between the trees, using his nimble agility to keep pace. Lily the Rabbit hopped along, her long ears flopping in the breeze, while Danny the Deer leapt gracefully over fallen logs and tangled branches. As they raced through the forest, the animals encountered various obstacles along the way. They dodged rocks, jumped over roots, and swerved around bushes, each one determined to reach the finish line first. Finally, they burst out of the trees and onto the riverbank, where the sparkling waters of the river lay before them. Benny the Bear was in the lead, but Sammy the Squirrel was hot on his heels. With a burst of energy, Sammy surged forward, overtaking Benny in a blur of fur and leaves. But just as Sammy reached the river, he skidded to a halt, realizing that he couldn't swim across the wide expanse of water. Meanwhile, Benny the Bear lumbered up beside him, panting heavily but determined to keep going. Without hesitation, he scooped Sammy onto his back and waded into the river, using his strong arms to swim across to the other side. On the opposite bank, Lily the Rabbit and Danny the Deer waited anxiously, cheering as Benny and Sammy approached the finish line together. With a final burst of effort, Benny and Sammy crossed the finish line hand in hand, their friends cheering and clapping wildly. "Congratulations, Benny and Sammy!" cried Lily the Rabbit, hopping up and down with excitement. "You're both winners in our book." And as the sun began to set behind the trees, the animals celebrated their race with a joyful feast, grateful for the fun and friendship they shared.